Guys, how soon is too soon to bring out the mermaid nail? Like, is middle of January too soon? It's so like dreary and sad outside. I felt like I needed like a pop of color. Something to remind myself of what it might be like in, like, say the waters in, you know, the Caribbean. You know, remind myself of the places that I am not currently. Hello everyone, I'm here today to share with you guys a side-by-side comparison, a full day sort of review and first impression, if you will, of two different drugstore foundations that launched really recently. I put them in a drugstore haul that I included recently, and I didn't include them in the haul update. And I felt like it might make more sense to kind of sit down, show you guys what the application looks like, and show you guys what each of them looks like at the end of the day. So that way when you're actually in the drugstore and you're like, okay, which one am I gonna get? You know, you can have like a full face look at what it looks like at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. So hopefully they're both great. I don't really know. I'm sitting at the beginning of the application. This is sort of like a buy or buy battle, or like a first impression face off. Actually, those are both really good names. Let me know in the comment which name you think I should go with. And also, if you have any new products that you guys want me to do as sort of another face off, let me know in the comment section below. They're really fun to do, and I always like to see, you know, which one is the better option. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. And without further ado, let's get into this. So before we actually zoom into the application process, I want to kind of walk you guys through both of the foundations, what they're supposed to do, what their coverage is supposed to be like, sort of based on like the website and what the packaging says. So the two that I'm going to be comparing today are the L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover Foundation against the Maybelline Dream Cushion Liquid Foundation. For the L'Oreal foundation, they say you're supposed to get 24-hour full coverage wear that is a very light and natural finish. It says here that it's supposed to blend out instantly to cover dark spots, blemishes, scars, hyperpigmentation, everything in like one fell swoop. And on the back here, they have like a nice little handy chart. So if you're looking for the different, I don't know, L'Oreal foundations, I guess they show these on each of the different foundations so you can find which one that works for you. But this one, the finish is supposed to be natural, wear up to 24 hours, full coverage, and the texture is supposed to be very air light. And I'm gonna be comparing that to the Maybelline Dream Cushion Fresh Face Liquid Foundation on the go. It says here on the website that it is supposed to deliver complete luminous coverage with increased color pigments to create sort of a luminous coverage, fresh-faced perfection. What is complete coverage? Is that full coverage? Complete, I assume so. I assume that's full coverage, right? The L'Oreal comes in 12 different shades, the Maybelline comes in 8 different shades, and according to the Ulta website, the Maybelline sells for $15.99 and the L'Oreal one sells for $12.99. I also checked the ounces on each of these, and this one actually has 50% less than this one, and it is more expensive. I will say, however, that the cushion foundations, I find in general, having tested out a whole bunch of different ones, they tend to have really good coverage. You don't need as much as you would say a normal foundation, because you're kind of pressing it directly into the skin, and it gives a very beautiful finish. So we'll see what this looks like, kind of comparing and contrasting against the two over the course of the day. So now I'm going to zoom you guys in. I'm going to show you the application of the two of these and show you side by side what they look like. I'm gonna try and take some photos as well so you guys can really see what my skin actually looks like, and I'll do a follow-up at the end of the day, show you guys like what the results were and what it ended up looking like. So without further ado, let's get into the application. So now that we are all zoomed in, you can see all I have on my face right now is moisturizer. I have a little bit of primer on that I've used consistently over the last little while. It's just one that I constantly go back to and I know how it wears with a whole bunch of different foundations. So I felt like that was probably the best play for this particular video. And hopefully, like, I played around with my lighting a little bit, so hopefully you can see like every pore and flaw on my skin, because that is the purpose of today's video. So we're gonna do the L'Oreal on this side and the Maybelline on this side, and I'm going to be using a sponge to apply the L'Oreal one because I kind of wanted to mimic the way that this one is going to be applied to the face as well. And this is just barely damp because I didn't want to take away any of the full coverageness, but I did want to see if there was going to be any sort of similarity between the two if I apply them the same way, because I'm really looking at the formula itself. We're doing 10 on this side and 302 on this side. Hopefully they'll be a match. So we're gonna start with the L'Oreal one, and you can see the formula is very thick. Like, I just put like a blob on my hand and you can see that ain't going nowhere. And we'll see how much I actually am going to end up needing. to get that really nice full coverage effect. I have some like spider veins on my cheeks, so we'll see how much of that it actually covers. So that right there is one coat on one side and nothing on the other side. You can see some coverage there. It's doing a pretty good job. It's fading some of those spider veins right there and kind of smoothing everything out. It's not super full coverage yet. You can still see a little bit of redness around my nose. So I'm gonna do another coat and we'll see if that sort of like really thickens things up. I don't wanna see a single pore on my face. You say you are full coverage. I wanna see full coverage. The nice thing when applying this is it actually doesn't feel super thick and heavy on the face, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting it to feel kind of just very heavy, like the Estee Lauder Double Wear. While I love that foundation, it does feel like a very full coverage foundation on the face, and it does a really good job. But this one you don't really feel as much like some sort of like heavy veil of foundation on your face, which is kind of nice. It seems to have covered a lot of the spots and stuff on my face. It seems to be blending out quite nicely. It's sitting on the skin well. It's a good match in terms of shade, although a little bit on the gray side, but not too bad. And yeah, so overall, pretty good in terms of a first impression. And now we're gonna go on to the other side with the Maybelline Dream Cushion Foundation, and this is in the shade 10. I did a couple of swatches on my hand just to kind of figure out what shade I am. I have 10, 15, and 20. And usually I'm like their shade 20, which is sort of like a warm ivory shade. And no, that is for when I have like layer upon layer of self-tanner, that would actually work. But this one seems to be a good shade match for me. So that's something to just keep in mind if you are fair skinned. The lightest shade is that shade. So I'm going to use the little sponge applicator that it comes with, and I'm going to dip it into this little container right here. Bloop. And a lot comes off in one like very gentle tap. Like you can see, like that's a lot of foundation. And I've used my fair share of cushion foundations, and a lot of them you have to really press in to get a lot of foundation on the sponge. So that's really nice. It feels like it's saturated and you're gonna get a lot of foundation in that particular container. Whoa. All right, well, let's blend that out a little bit, shall we? The one thing about this particular sponge is you have to remember to get some coverage on like the corner if you want to get in and around like the nose or around on the chin or anything like that. And I keep forgetting to do that, so just keep that in mind when you're like trying to apply this. You need to be cognizant of where the foundation is going. So that's about like one even coat, I want to say. I'm going to blob it in and just see how well it layers. That's always something to take into consideration. Sometimes foundations don't really layer that well, and it's like you have your one coat and then you better be happy with that. We'll see how this wears with like a double layer on my face today. All right, so that is the full application of both foundations on my face. So right now, as it stands, like having not applied any concealer under my eyes or any finishing powder or anything like that, which one looks better? Editing, Rachel, do you have an opinion? Because I can't really tell on camera. Camera's too far away. Can't really tell which one looks better as of right now. In terms of like way up close with like a magnifying mirror right now, I would say that probably the L'Oreal side looks a little bit better than the Maybelline side. It looks like my pores are quite enlarged is that even a word? I can really see them sort of in this general area, which I wasn't really expecting. I thought that because it had the sponge applicator, you could sort of fill them in a little bit more, but that doesn't seem to be the case, at least like really up close. From like far away, they look about the same, but like up close, that's probably the biggest difference that I see. So I'm going to set everything with powder, and I'm going to add my highlight, blush, bronzer, all that stuff. And then I will come back and I'll show you guys what it looks like. And then I will do a wrap up at the end of the day. All right, so now it is the end of the day, and I wanted to share with you guys what my makeup looks like. So you can see this is the side that had L'Oreal makeup on it, and this is the side that had Maybelline. And I'm gonna have to say, again, examining like really up close, I'm gonna have to say that the L'Oreal one looks better by the end of the day versus the Maybelline one, just because my pores look much bigger and more prominent on the side of the Maybelline side, and it also isn't doing as much to cover up some of the redness that I have experiencing kind of in this general area. And I'm a little bit shinier on this side than on this side. So those are the primary differences, coupled with the fact that the L'Oreal one is actually less expensive, I would say that the L'Oreal one is probably my favorite of the two. You see the coverage like really close up, but it looks pretty smooth and flawless from far away. Yeah, overall I would say that is definitely my pick of the two. And that's everything for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you found it helpful and you want to see more of these sort of face-off-esque type videos for new launches. And if you have any suggestions or recommendations for ones you want to see in future, leave them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you guys. I hope you're all having an amazing week so far, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you girls. Mwah.